care about the safety of your community, if you care about law and order, look, law and order in the great state of Ohio. Now, you do. I met a lot of your law enforcement people outside. They're like incredible people. They're patriots. They're patriots. One of them came out, and I shouldn't say this, but, you know, look, I met so many, but one of them came out, there's tears in his eyes. This guy hasn't cried in a very long time, but just in meeting because I represent what they want. They want law and they want order. And that's what you want. That's what this country wants. So you have to deliver massive majorities for Republicans in Congress next year. Have to do it. Right here in Ohio's 16th Congressional District, you have the opportunity to elect an incredible patriot to Congress who I know very well. He grew up in this area. Believe it or not, he's not a carpetbagger like so many. A lot of them say, sir, I'm running for Congress. Oh, good. How long have you lived there? Well, actually, I moved there last week. I saw an opening. Max Miller. You know Max? Great guy. He loves our country. He loves the people of Ohio. And Max was a trusted aide of mine in the White House. We had great people working for me. We had some real losers, too, by the way. But, you know, that can happen when I didn't know too many people. You know, in Washington, I was there 17 times in my life. And all of a sudden, I'm president of the United States. So we made a couple, but do I know the people? Do I know the good ones? I know the good ones. But we had some really great people, and Max was one of them. He did a fantastic job. He helped me with North Korea negotiation, and we did so much for Israel and Iraq and the G7, G20. We brought peace to the Middle East if this guy would finish it. But now he's going back to the Iran deal, which is going to destroy Israel, or there's going to be a big war, more likely. In Congress, Max will be tough on illegal immigration. He will be strong on crime, as strong as you can get. He will stand up to China, and he will protect Ohio jobs just like I did. Remember in Lima, do you remember they were going to close your tank plant? And I was president-elect. I didn't know anything about the tank plant, but I heard through a great gentleman. Did anybody ever hear of a man named Jim Jordan? A tremendous athlete, tremendous wrestler. Oh, these wrestlers, they wanted to wrestle Jim, and they got their ass kicked every time. He hasn't changed, but Jim told me about, Jim's here, by the way, so I'll introduce him in a couple of minutes. But they wanted to close a tank plant, and I went to see it, Lima. I went to see it, and I couldn't believe it. Big, massive plant. The people that work there were so talented. They have the turrets. I mean, the only thing you know about tanks is Dukakis, right, where he walked with the helmet. He wouldn't have looked good in this tank either. But, you know, I see these tanks, and I said to the guys, who's going to make these? This is the only place in the country that made tanks, so I guess that means we're going to have to buy them from China. I said, so who's going to do this if you close this great facility? The talent was incredible. The ball bearings that they made, every single one with love and with care, and that turret, you could flip it with your finger practically. It was just incredible technology. I said, who's going to make our tanks? And I ended that order. It was a stupid order. I ended it. And we now have that plant working overtime, making tanks and tanks and tanks. And if we didn't, I mean, you wouldn't have a tank. And believe it or not, tanks are very important. Max's opponent is a guy named Anthony Gonzalez, who's bad news. He's a grandstanding rhino, not respected in D.C., who voted for the unhinged, unconstitutional, illegal impeachment witch hunt, the witch hunt. You know, this guy used to call me, and my people in the office would say, do you know somebody named Gonzalez? I said, no. He's a congressman from Ohio. I said, so what? Well, tell me about him. What's the story? He wants to go to Ohio in Air Force One because I was coming to Ohio. I came to Ohio a lot, okay? I feel very comfortable. I used to work in Ohio. I used to work in Cincinnati, Ohio. I love it. The Queen City, Cincinnati. But he wanted to know if he could fly on Air Force One. You know, with all the people in Congress, I think he was just about the only guy ever. He heard I was going to Ohio. Could he fly back and forth in Air Force One? I said, I don't know. Who's the guy? Tell me about him. And I didn't hear much good. But I said, what the hell? He's asking. So let him ride. You know, it holds like 400 people. So you put a guy in a seat, right? And I didn't get to know him too well, but I'd see him on the plane, and then I'd see him go back, and then I'd be going 3 months later, and he'd call again. Could I go to Ohio on Air Force One? I'd put him on the plane, I'd put him back. And the next thing I heard his name, next time, he was impeaching me. He was impeaching me. I don't know. That's not the reason I'm doing this, but I just thought it's a character trait that was not so good. Not so good. No, he's a sellout, he's a fake Republican, and a disgrace to your state. I will tell you that. And he's not the candidate that you want representing the Republican Party. He's the candidate of Liz Cheney. That's another beauty. Liz Cheney. Mitt Romney. Do you notice? You notice? The Democrats have horrible policy, right? Defund the police, open borders, sanctuary cities, all of the cancel culture. Let's cancel out George Washington. You see that? They're after George Washington now. I did say 2 years ago, they may go there. If you're not strong, they're going to go there. But he's a candidate. He likes Liz Cheney, Mitt Romney, Nancy Pelosi, Joe Biden. Earlier this year, Gonzalez voted to grant amnesty to illegal aliens, okay? I thought we were trying to go the opposite way so that we can have our country back and have our borders back. He voted to keep our troops bogged down in Syria, and I got him out. We didn't listen to him too much. Not too many people do. And after he voted for impeachment, the Ohio GOP censured Gonzalez and remanded him to you-know-where, but they demanded that he resign and resign immediately. And he's still hanging in there, you know? Every single Republican needs to vote him out of office and nominate and vote for a really great guy, Max Miller, a passion. He's got a passion for this country like you wouldn't believe. Max, come on up and say hello. This is your territory, Max. Max Miller.
All right, let's hear it for the 45th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. That's right. And come 2024, we're going to get him elected for the third time. That's right, this guy. There is no greater fighter that this country has ever had, and I have never had a greater role model than President Donald J. Trump. Period, bar none. I need all of your help to get RINO, Turncoat Tony, out of office and to help put an America First conservative into office for the 16th district. God bless you all. God bless President Trump. Thank you.
Thank you, Max. Great guy. I can tell you he's a great guy.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in more than 70 million homes. You can get Newsmax TV on your cable system or check your cable guide. And if your system doesn't carry Newsmax, call them, tell them you want Newsmax TV, because we're real news for real people.